Welcome to the Mountain Magnolia Show, where your hosts, Mary Noble Braden and Leanne Lewis, will introduce you to Swannanoa Valley's most interesting and most iconic individuals.
Hey, I'm so happy to be here as well on this beautiful day. My name's Mary Noble Braden from Noble & Company Realty. We've got an office just right downtown Black Mountain, and we service Western North Carolina and upstate South Carolina. And I've lived in the area for 20 years, and I'm really excited to start this Mountain Magnolias radio show, really unveiling all the wonderful people in Black Mountain and showing how much love and support we have for each other.
I really feel that. I've only lived here in Black Mountain for a little while, but it's there. It's palpable, the love and the support on the community. They really want to know about each other, which is really great. Which brings me to to our guest today, Mary and Leanne. Mary Noble and Leanne wanted to focus on Scott first off to get this party started right. So I have Scott Counce here, and he actually owns the Mary Wine Market right here in the heart of Black Mountain. And I really know nothing about you, Scott. So tell me why you think these two wanted you here first. You have a great story. I can tell your vibe is delicious, fantastic. But why do you think they wanted you here? And go into it.
Well, my goodness, I am thrilled to be here. And I do own the Mary Wine Market. And I tell people I work for my wife. She is the smart one. I married up, and I make sure every day I figure out, or she doesn't figure out which end of the stick she got. But we have had our shop for 20 years. We were celebrating our 20th birthday at the shop, but
20th,
20th
wow!
And I think they probably asked me to come here. I'm actually a little famous for. I've always been told I have a face for radio, and so. I look really good right now. So.
You look fantastic.
I look great.
You have a face for television as well, sir. Right up to the mic, ma'am.
I was just going to say, Scott Counce was one of the first people I met when I moved to Black Mountain.
20 years ago.
He was responsible for one of the first business ventures that I did, Bella Blooms, back in the day.
That's fantastic.
So everybody that has been here for any amount of time knows Scott, and he really, really helps connect different people. So thank you for that.
And that's why you're here.
Well, you are welcome. Our slogan at our shop is we'd rather make a friend than a sale. And
beautiful.
We have made so many friends.
That's great.
And oftentimes people just come in to say hello. And if they leave with something, great. If they don't, great. We've been thrilled that the town has embraced us. We were kind of on the cutting edge 20 years ago when we opened a wine shop in the middle of Black Mountain. But everyone really embraced us and has loved us, and we've loved them, and we just feel very, very blessed to be here.
Fantastic. That's great.
So, Scott, I have to say, we've heard the word connector a couple of times during this whole interview. It's because you truly are a connector. And here's why. This is how Mary Noble, Shane, and I got together, is through your shop, right? And to your little mantra and slogan, I love that because everybody's a friend we haven't met yet. And I happened to be in your wine shop purchasing a birthday present, and I hear Shane Hollifield go, "Is that Leanne Lewis I hear in here?" And right, and I said, "Yes, it is." And she goes, "I have an open house tomorrow with the gang. Come over tomorrow and join us." That is what started this relationship, and I owe it to you in the Mary Wine Market.
That actually gives me chills because, we don't always hear the positive things. And, well, thank you. I'm glad to be a part of your story. And I remember blossoms well. I go out and water plants and all the little urns and things we bought at Bella Blooms. Absolutely. So I'm thrilled to be a part of y'all's story.
Great. Well, Mary Noble and I have some questions for you, and we want the audience to learn more about you. What brought you to Black Mountain?
Okay. I'm going to give you the short and long version. I grew up in Mississippi, a little town called Corinth, and I'm really the only one who got out. Everybody else is still there. And I didn't really want to go far, but I knew I wanted to kind of spread my wings and get out kind of that rut of everybody knows who you are, everybody knows where you're from, everybody knows who you're going to marry, everybody knows where you're going to work, everybody knows where you're going to be buried. And, it's that Gothic novel that we're all written into. And when you're from that part of the country. And I was at Ole Miss, hotty toddy, and I had a professor who said, "You've got a really good resume. Make it a great one. Go work at a boys' camp." And I had worked at a boys' camp in Mississippi. Well, I had gone there as a camper. And summer camp in Mississippi, it's 120 degrees. The mosquitoes are the size of bats. Oof. I didn't have a great experience there. And I thought, oh, shoot, I'm going to have to go sweat and work at this camp. And I met somebody in Corinth the next weekend when I went home to, get a meal, get my laundry done by my mother, and go to church with the family. And there was someone at our church who was recruiting for Camp Ridgecrest for boys right up the street. And this is how long ago it was. He said, "Would you please take this video cassette and this glossy catalog?" And so I went home and popped it into I popped into that VHS player and I rewound it and watched the video. And I thought, well, that just looks incredible. The same but very different than the camp I had been to because there were all these mountains. And I thought, well, that's a part of the country that I've visited, but I've never really spent any time in. Why don't I do that for a summer? So I came here to be a one-year wonder staffer. I was never going to put my shadow on the mountains again. And I fell in love with the mountains. I fell in love with this little town. My whole life changed. My whole heart just cracked open, and everything about my life changed that summer. And I went home and tried to live in Mississippi for 2 years. That was 1988. In 1990, I made the move up here and ended up working in the summer at the camp and doing other little jobs here and there to satisfy my camp habit. I had studied journalism in Mississippi. After I moved up here, I went to Mars Hill and got another degree in education and taught school at Black Mountain Primary while I worked in the summer. And then I met my wife. She had grown up at Crestridge for girls, the girls' camp from Tampa. And we had met each other in 88 and no real sparks flew. I wasn't as cute then as I am now. And she...
None of us were.
She kind of went off and worked in her world. She studied art and then went to the Culinary Institute of America after she graduated from Converse College in Spartanburg, and worked in Montana, worked in Europe, worked in Manhattan, chefing, and 8 years later comes back to a camp reunion. We re-met, and I started dating her, talked her into marrying me, and have never looked back.
Aww.
And that's how I got here. That's my story, and I'm
beautiful.
sticking to it.
Oh, that's wonderful. I'm glad to find out that you were a teacher at Black Mountain Primary. I didn't know that. All right. Well, you've got a lovely wine shop, the Mary Wine Market, and you've been open 20 years. You have some of the best gift wrapping anybody has ever done. And I love
Tell me about the
going
gift
to the wine market for last minute gifts. Scott does a great job. So I just want you to tell everyone a little about the wine shop, what your hours are, when you have.
I have to know about the gift wrap because I understand he is the gift wrap banshee.
Yeah.
That's what I've been told.
What makes it so
Because when I
special?
purchased a bottle of wine last time and did a little gift thing, she goes, "Scott would kill me right now if you headed out of this shop like this." And I said, "It looks great." Yeah, but it's not Scott Counce's gift wrapping. So you need to, so share probably.
Well, you just have to do it with a pure heart, and that's why no one else could do it as well as I can. It's not. There's no real secret. I take what's in front of me, and I don't know. I just make it look as pretty as I can. I think, is this going to be pretty? Is someone going to be glad to get this? And it's just real simple. Just a simple little board in the bottom of a sleeve. And then we throw in our nice little items. We have a bottle of wine, things from the charcuterie shelf, things from our gift counter. We've got other little things, not just wine, not just beer. And we put together we don't have gift baskets that we sell pre-made because we like everything to be custom. So you come in, and if you know exactly what you want, great. If you don't, but you've got a budget, great. And I don't send anything out that I wouldn't want to get myself. And so I just take an extra little 2 seconds. If you don't have time to do it, then you don't have time to do it twice. So do it right the first time.
That's right. Absolutely.
Well, tell us days of the week the wine shop's open, and also do y'all still do wine tastings on Wednesdays? Is that right?
We did wine tastings on Wednesdays, and in the summertime we did them on Wednesdays. In the fall and winter we did them on Saturdays. That kind of changed during COVID, like everything else in the world. So now we do tastings kind of spontaneously. When lots of people are coming in, we'll open some wine and have a little tasting. So really we haven't done programmed tastings since we came out of COVID. We're tossing around the idea of starting those back. But if you come in on weekends, especially, we've got a guy now named Ben who's working with us, who's just, to call him fun is such an understatement. Oh, you've got to have been on here. I wish you had cameras to broadcast his picture, because he's just hysterical. He's so fun. But he's also getting his Master Sommelier certification, and he's already achieved either level 1 or level 2. So he doesn't have quite my accent. It's close, but it's funny because a lot of people come in and they're disarmed by this. And wine stores can be wine stores can be very, very intimidating. And we do not allow that at the Mary Wine Market. In fact, one of the famous stories is my wife looked at me one day because someone came in. She was very timid, and I got her to ask her question. And I said, I actually don't know, but luckily my wife is here, and she knows. She's forgotten more about wine than I'll ever know in 1,000 lifetimes, because really Katherine is a wine expert, having gone through her chefing school. And so Katherine comes over and helps the woman. The woman leaves, and Katherine looks at me. She said, "You're the one who brought that wine in. You know everything about that wine." I said, "Yes," but she was so intimidated, and me telling her I didn't know made her feel better, because she wasn't the only one in the room. So everybody who's ever made anyone feel intimidated, feel stupid in a setting like that, they started their knowledge somewhere, but they forgot it, and they forgot to have a heart. And so we just don't allow that. The only stupid questions are the ones you don't ask. And we're not there to judge you. We're there to help you. We want you to ask so you walk out with the right thing. It makes us look better when you walk out with what you want. So that's what we do.
That's fantastic.
I am so glad you brought up about the intimidation factor in a wine shop, because I've been intimidated to even go into your shop.
Most of
and
us
I know
have.
you and Katherine. So anyway, thank you for saying that, because we have so much in that shop that is just awesome. It's like a journey all over Europe to me. And the first thing they ask is, what's your budget? And I so respect that. And then they start shopping and showing you all these delightful wines and what they pair with. So I have to say, from a consumer standpoint, everybody listening out there, please go in and try it. I promise you'll have dignity.
Well, a lot of people have bought into this misinformation that I don't call it cheap wine. Now, you can buy cheap wine. They have it at Exxon and Shell. But we have inexpensive wine.
Okay.
And we have inexpensive wine. And there's this idea that if the price is low, then it can't possibly be good wine. And that's absolutely incorrect. Now, if it's a lower priced wine, are the grapes going to be handpicked out of the vineyard? Probably not. Is it going to be a small boutique family owned winery instead of a big conglomerate? Probably not. Those conglomerates can make more wine, make a bigger amount, keep their costs lower. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the wine is bad or that the wine is cheap. It is inexpensive. That's it.
Okay.
And so I always tell people, do not be afraid. I will be happy to charge you more. I would love
Please don't.
I would love to charge y'all more for the wine, but don't be afraid
Right.
of the price. If it's more expensive, are you going to taste the nuances? Possibly. If you've got a palate, and it doesn't have to be a refined palate. You may not know you have a refined palate. I didn't know I had one
Right.
until my wife. I grew up where we drank bad brown booze and bad beer.
Right.
You couldn't even hardly call
Exactly.
it beer. And so I didn't know that I would enjoy fine wine because wine wasn't consumed during
Right.
the time that I grew up in North Mississippi, where I lived. So I get here and Katherine starts giving me these wines based on what I was telling her. Turns out I really liked very specific wines from a very specific region.
What is your favorite wine?
I love Alsatian whites. I love bone dry, crisp.
Really? I would see you as a sweet red kind of guy.
And I was when I first started drinking wine because
Okay.
it was safe.
Yes, that's me. I
It was safe.
I
all
played
know-
the safe wine
Who doesn't
card.
like dessert? So
Right.
absolutely a sweet wine is going to fit so many blanks on your sheet.
Okay.
But start venturing out. If you don't like one wine, fantastic. Write that down and don't buy that wine again, but don't give up on dry wine.
Okay.
Keep going back until you find the one that you do like. I wanted the more sugar, the better, the sweeter. I wanted a cavity just opening the bottle.
Exactly.
And then Katherine
Right.
said, the way you describe what you like to drink and what you're looking for, I really think you would like these, in particular, Alsatian whites and Loire Valley whites, because in the Loire Valley, I'm going to sound like I know a whole lot. I don't. My wife
Well, you
taught me
do.
this.
I'm entranced. Keep
Well,
it going.
I'm a parrot. I learned. It has chalky soil. So you're getting these flinty little chalky notes, and it's bone dry, but it's got a nice little citrus, almost like a fresh lemon zest on the finish.
Oh,
Love
my
it.
gosh.
There's one in particular that I love. It's a Muscadet Surly,
Okay.
and the American ear hears Muscadet, and they go to Muscadine, and they
Right.
think, oh, it's sweet. No, it is so dry
I
it will
immediately
powder your
went there.
teeth. And it is so good with shellfish. It's so good with light, fare, salads. Come in and try Muscadet Surly. Come in and try a Loire Valley Sauvignon Blanc. You don't
Oh my
have
gosh.
to. So people love Sancerre, the fancy French Sauvignon Blanc. Is there a reason why Sancerre is more expensive? There is. It
Okay.
deserves to be a little bit more expensive. How they handle the grapes, how the laws that are there to keep them doing it the right way. There's a reason those wines are a step above. But just try one of the greater regions of the Loire Valley for a Sauvignon Blanc. It's not a white Bordeaux. Bordeaux is where you would normally find a French Sauvignon Blanc. But the soil there is going to have an acidity and a minerality that's different than over in the Loire. So you're going to get different taste points. My palate doesn't like some of the minerals in white Bordeaux. My wife prefers a white Bordeaux if she's drinking white.
Wow.
She prefers a white Burgundy. She prefers a Chardonnay. I don't really care for Chardonnay, but that's just me.
Right.
I'd rather go over and drink something a little bit more flinty, a little bit more dry, a little bit more light and fresh.
I love a blend. So red blends tend to be really popular, or seem to be really popular right now. Cashmere blend is what I've heard, and it is so nice and smooth. Do you find that that's what you're seeing a lot of interest in? Or is
Yes.
it across the board?
It's across the board, but it's funny because a lot of people come in and they say, I really understand now that blends are in.
Okay.
What a lot of people outside of what we do for a living don't understand, and I didn't know this. Keep in mind, I sound like a know-it-all. I was not teacher's pet. I was the one they were trying to throw out
Well,
of
your
class.
wife would be proud right now. I'll just say
she's
that
so
right
proud.
here.
Prouder than a peacock. And but she has taught me so much, and I've learned so much because when you do this, you want to. It's such an interesting topic, and you
Exactly.
cannot learn everything. It's never ending. But blends have always been around. A Bordeaux. Everybody hears about French Bordeaux. Bordeaux, Bordeaux, Bordeaux. I love Bordeaux. I love Bordeaux. Had somebody tell me one time, I just can't stand blends at all. I just don't like blends at all. I'll tell you what I love. I love a good Bordeaux.
Is it a blend?
Well, I didn't tell him, but blends, the Bordeaux is a blend.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Now, it can be single varietal.
Right.
Typically,
Oh, that's
a Bordeaux is Cabernet Sauvignon,
Okay.
Cabernet Franc,
Right.
and Merlot.
Okay.
You can have some variations in that, but
But that's a blend.
But for a Bordeaux, a Bordeaux is a blend. A Burgundy
funny.
is a blend.
Okay.
So when you talk about French wines, you kind of have to know your real estate because they go by the region.
I love French wines. Yeah, that's where I go automatically.
So study a French map if you want to drink wines, because you need to know from the regions what grapes you like. Because when you go into a wine shop, you will ask for that. I like wines from the Rhone region. I like wines from the Bordeaux region. I like a good Burgundy.
Now, how does one start that journey?
Get a book.
Okay,
watch a video.
Okay, because I just go in and taste it and think, oh, I like that.
Well, Windows on the World was a wonderful restaurant at the top of the World Trade Center.
Oh, okay.
And of course, it's not here any longer.
Right.
But they have a wine course, and it's updated here and there. And even the older wine courses, wine doesn't really change. I mean, when you think back to the birth of wine, the Druids have been drinking.
Oh my gosh!
Wine,
it's
long before.
Yeah, it's way back there.
The science is there. The tastings, certain things change. Fads come and go. Years ago, there was a movie, Sideways, that destroyed the Merlot industry, and it was what was that little guy's name? Paul something. It was an improv line. Oh no! And it brought the Merlot industry to a halt just by saying no one drinks Merlot anymore.
Are you kidding me? That one line?
That one line. And we could not give Merlot away for like 3 or 4 years until finally people realized he didn't really.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he didn't know what he was talking about, but it was a funny line, and it had repercussions.
It'd be great if your shop could offer some sort of education. That would be so amazing.
It would be. We need to look into
that. Just throw that in there.
Thank you.
All right, Scott. So you told the audience what type of white wine you liked at your shop. Tell us what type of red wine that you would suggest if somebody came in and purchased.
If somebody came in and just said, I like all red wines and I'd like a recommendation from you, my first question is, are you just going to sip it? Are you going to have it with a meal? What's that meal going to be? Do you prefer something lighter? Do you prefer something a little heavier? If they ask me to pick something I like, and this is what's funny about wine, there are no rules for wine. You make up your own rules, and it doesn't matter. I love the lightest, driest whites. But when I drink a red, I go to the opposite end of the spectrum. I like the heaviest grape. I like a red Zinfandel. Now, little side note, because I love sounding smarter than I am. And again,
well, you certainly are today.
I learned this. So I love acting smart. The Italians call it Primitivo. So if you hear someone talk about Primitivo, what they're talking about is the Zinfandel grape. Is that white Zinfandel, that pink sweet stuff? It is the same grape. But someone years ago in the 70s figured out a way they could take some of the leftover wines when they started making the red Zins, add some sugar content to it, and get this nice little rosé that they could, they're going to throw it away or let it go down the drain. Right. And they bottled it up, and now book clubs and canasta parties, and what's that thing with the dice?
Yahtzee.
Dice. Bunko. I think is great. Yeah. I told my wife
parties.
Her Bunko. That's great for those. Just drink a lot. And
it is.
So that there's a place for white's in. But Zinfandel, the Zinfandel grape is a very thick-skinned grape, which means it's going to be a very heavy-bodied wine. It's going to have a lot of intensity of flavor.
Okay.
Old vine Zinfandel in particular, those are going to be some of the old Italian root systems that were brought over and planted in California because it's got such a good climate, similar to what they were growing in Italy. And so there's a depth of flavor to an old vine Zin, an OVZ, old vine Zin. And those are the ones, there's chocolate in there, dark stone fruit, blackberry, black plum.
See, that's when I get into those notes, right? Something really cool.
And a lot of palates might read that as sweet. My palate doesn't read it as sweet. It reads it as just really fruity. But there's this little earthiness and this deepness of flavor on the back.
See, I want to be able to taste wine like Scott does with all the notes. Well, we're going to take a break. We've got to pay the bills and let the sponsors come in on their time. And we'll be right back to hear more from Scott.
Thank you for joining us for Mountain Magnolias with your hosts, Mary Noble Braden and Leanne Lewis. Join us next time for more interesting stories from the Swannanoa's most interesting people as we give you something to talk about. Mountain Magnolias is a production of Noble and Company Realty in Black Mountain. For more information, please call them at 828-357-5243. 828-357-5243.